I'm Malakai, and welcome to the Super Media Podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things media, ranging from the latest movies and TV series to the most vintage video games. On today's episode, we'll be going over some of the reboots, remakes, and adaptations released in the past few months, focusing on Avatar: The Last Airbender, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and X-Men '97. Joining us to talk about the live-action adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender is Martez. How are you doing, Martez?
I'm doing pretty amazing today. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to get started. So, starting with the live-action adaptation, what were your first thoughts when you found out about it?
I thought we had one adaptation from a movie. It wasn't as what I expected, but now it's what I expected. It's what I wanted to see.
Okay, that's good. What were some of the changes that you felt like it?
Changes. We got more into depth, more in the storyline. We got to see more parts that we didn't get to see in the animated version that people, in my opinion, I think we wanted to see as the audience.
Anything in particular?
Background stories. We got more into backgrounds. Fight scenes.
Ooh.
Looked nice.
That's right.
And yeah.
I know one thing is in the very beginning it starts off with an Earthbender running through, I think, the Fire Nation, possibly. And the fight scene there was pretty cool. The first thing you ever see for the series is Earthbender fighting a Firebender.
Firebender.
Yeah.
We didn't get a lot of that in the animated version, but we get to see it how it'd be depicted in IRL.
Yeah, the bending styles and, I think the water might have been a little bit tricky for them to do.
The water maybe was tricky, but they made it look nice.
They made it look definitely.
Very amazing.
Yeah. What are some things that you liked about it that you felt were similar to the animated series?
I liked how they matched the actors with the characters in it. They really depicted how they look in real life. They got a good match for the actors.
Yeah, they got I think it really was around 13 or 14 to play Aang. And that was pretty cool. All the characters were pretty spot on for their
Katara, Sokka, they all were amazing.
That's pretty cool. I have a few little notes about this. It has a 60% critic score and a 73% audience score.
Ooh.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
More people should have tuned in. I don't know I think they're missing out.
Well, I can actually tell you what happened. So about 6 days after it was released on Netflix, 21.2 million people tuned in to watch it. And then about a week later, another 19.9 million people watched it. So there were quite a few people who did watch it. In my opinion, I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the more in-depth backstories. Got to see a little bit more of Azula, one of my favorite.
Amazing character right there.
Yes. How she was depicted was great. She had the same kind of the fiery energy. She still wanted to. You could feel how much she wanted to please her father.
Her daddy issues.
And even though Zuko wasn't there, you even felt how much she hated Zuko.
Yeah. You could tell his aggression towards his own son and his disappointment in the live action.
And I think along with that, you got to see her friends early on in the series.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool too, because I think in season 1 of the animated series,
we didn't really get to see all that.
Nope.
We didn't get to see much of Azula.
Yeah.
We saw more Katara, Sokka, the water village, and Uncle Iroh and Zuko.
Yes, exactly. So those were kind of our main characters.
Yeah.
I know one character in particular that I was excited to see was Zhao, General Zhao, and how he was kind of depicted. I think he came in a few of the later episodes, but the depiction of him was still really pretty accurate. He had a little more of a humorous side, I think. But yeah, what are your thoughts on him and kind of the Fire Nation?
The Fire Nation, I'm not gonna lie, I've always liked the Fire Nation.
Okay.
Them wanted to be the number one.
Yes.
I kind of think it was selfish. But the way they were able to still take over in 100-year span and leave every other nation powerless is still amazing by itself.
So let's talk about the Siege of Air Temple Island.
Oh man.
Yeah. So the in the trailer, I know I know that you get to see a little bit of it,
Yeah.
but then when the episode actually came out, we got to see like full forces of Fire Nation soldiers.
Yes.
I almost think they're like shooting themselves. They're using their fires to like catapult themselves onto Air Temple Island, and they like landed in a ball of smoke and fire, and then just were oppressing the Airbenders.
At the same time, it's really a strategy thing.
Yeah.
The Airbenders, I don't think they really wanted to fight. So
Right.
it's really that was a plus on the Fire Nation
Uh-huh.
side because they're all peaceful, they're all
Right.
monks. But the way they thought of getting up there, amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else would have thought of it.
Yeah.
They're really critical thinkers in that moment.
Yep. And it's really creative because at this point in the series, they don't have the war balloons that Sokka made.
Yeah.
So, like, we got to actually see what was the way that they, got to Air Temple Island, because that was a big question from the
Yeah.
animated series. So that was kind of like a bonus that I was really, really excited to see. And I know, like, the Airbenders, they're mostly, like, defense and
Yeah.
dodging, but you got to see them, like, fighting for their lives.
Word.
And Monkey Yatso, like, trying to protect the children in the corner. I was just like, oh, but we already know how it's going to end.
He took over, one of the monks took like 100 Fire Nation soldiers
Yeah.
with him, though.
Yeah.
But I think
It was just that social
they could have won. They could have won, in my opinion, if
Yep.
they choose to stop doing defense.
Right, exactly.
If they went on the offense for once,
Yeah,
they could have won.
they don't have any sort of military. And especially with that Sozin's comment, like,
Yeah,
that didn't help.
amplified it
Yeah.
even more.
I know, let's see, what else do we have here? So, yeah, I told you that it got a 60% critic score. Like, in your opinion, what would you give it?
I give it an 80.
Okay,
80 in my opinion.
that's good. And in your opinion, which one is better, the live action series or the animated
It's
series?
always going to be animated.
Yes.
Live action can't compete.
All right, then. Well, thank you for joining us today, Martez. All right, and I hope you enjoyed this part of the show so far. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be right back to talk about Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Super Media Podcast. The next item on the roster is the series reboot of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Joining us today is Eric. How you feeling, Eric?
I'm feeling great, Malakai.
You ready to talk about your Percy Jackson?
Always, anytime.
Alrighty, now, the series reboot of Percy Jackson and the Olympians is the second adaptation of the popular books created by Rick Riordan. It centers on the journey of a young demigod, Percy Jackson, aka the son of Poseidon, who must find and return Zeus's Master Bolt in order to prevent an all-out war amongst the Greek gods. So, Eric, what are your initial thoughts on the series reboots?
Well, I loved the series when I was a kid. It's what got me into reading. And
Wow.
when I saw that they were going to reboot it again, my initial thought was, oh no.
Okay.
This might not go well.
Does that have something to do with the movie that came out?
The
for
two
it?
movies that came out, yeah. So the first movie was just terrible.
Okay.
I think the actors did well, but
Right.
I don't think the rest of it was up to snuff as
Okay.
much because they changed a lot in the movies to just make it
Right.
into when you have to take an entire 300-page book and make it into a movie,
Exactly.
it's gonna lose some detail.
Yeah.
And I was worried that they're gonna come in with a similar approach
Right.
for the TV show. I know it was gonna be 8 episodes because that's what they all
Right.
are now. But
Exactly. Yep.
I was like, 8 episodes. I don't know.
Exactly. It feels like they can't shove enough. I feel like there's so much stuff that they need to say and explain, like from the book. You're like, how do you shove a book into 8 episodes?
Yeah. My other worry was if you didn't already know Percy Jackson, would they focus on the people that didn't, or
Right.
would they cater it more towards the fans?
The fans, yes.
And I know Rick Riordan, the author, worked way more on
Yes.
the show than he did on the movie.
Yes.
So when that was announced, I was like, oh,
Right.
so we might get some things.
Right.
And then I started seeing the casting, and I
Uh-huh.
was just like, oh, they're actually children this time.
Yes.
Because in my opinion, that's a huge part of the first book.
Absolutely.
Is that these 6th grade age children are now going to be, not only is Percy thrust into a world that up until this point he had seen very little of or not much at all.
Right.
He's going to not only be thrust into that, but now his whole family, his extended family, his mom, his dad, who he had never met, is
Yes.
all relying on him to get something
Right.
done.
Not just that, but like if he doesn't return the Master Bolt, find Lightning Thief, like the Zeus and Poseidon are going to war, and the effects on Earth of that happening are just terrible, catastrophic for sure.
And so I felt like in the movies, when they adapted those, that pressure wasn't really there because I think the actor was supposed to be portrayed as like a 15, 16-year-old.
Right.
And like, while yes, that might be just a few years older.
Yeah.
You never really felt that pressure in that. And I think after watching the entire show, they really nailed that.
Yes.
Because Percy is kind of freaked
Absolutely.
out the entire time.
Yep.
And I appreciate that.
Because one thing about the book is like, in the excerpt, it's literally like he's a 12-year-old, right? It's like that's kind of the whole point. It's just this 12-year-old that's going on a journey to find the bolt, but he has no idea what he's doing. And Walker Scobell, who played Percy Jackson, he did a great job of like, portraying Percy, and showing that kind of like the kid, the 12-year-old who's like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of following along.
Yeah, I think they kind of nailed that. There were some people that were worried about it, and I wasn't just worried about the age, because then they started showing me the rest of the cast that was going to be along with him, and I was like, they're putting a lot of effort into this one. And honestly, the first 3 episodes, I'm going to say it, not very strong. They really felt like kids, children actors that were there, and that was part of the charm to me. Like, yes, could their acting have been a little better, maybe? Sure. But then as you progress through the series, while I was watching it, I watched it with my mom, and she was like, and me and her discussed that they kind of always start soft and kind of afraid, acting wise, it felt like every episode. But as the episodes continued and as it progresses further, it really felt like they put in they got into it more. They got more comfortable with their roles.
Definitely.
And then the final 2 episodes, I had no complaints.
Wow.
The final 2 episodes, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. And the author, Rick Riordan, he had come out and said, I'm going to be changing things.
Right.
This is not going to be a one-to-one of the book. And I wasn't too sure about that initially. But overall, I think the things he changed were
I think it was pretty good.
I think they shortened a lot of stuff that was like an entire chapter. Like in the last episode when they go to Hades. They shortened that entire sequence of them meeting the man that guards the door from 1 chapter to about 5 minutes. And I honestly loved that because I was like, that was
funny.
It was funny.
It was really funny.
And I think it was a good comedic beat to hit before. Oh no, time to go.
And especially like right there, you're like, it's like, well, they think they finally got the Hades. They think they know what they're doing after all this time of like, being afraid, being confused, not knowing what to do. They got the Hades and they're like, all right, this is the guy. We know what we're going to get from him.
He's going to let me in now.
He's going to let me in now. And then they get to him. He's like talking about something completely opposite of what they're trying to get here. And it's just great because, again, it throws them into like, okay, we really are still kids. We are the stuff we still don't know. And it's great.
I think they're really built off of the whole point of, so like during the show, they put a lot more emphasis on Sally Jackson, Percy's mom, and a bunch of flashbacks to her, which were all great.
My favorite.
A lot of it was her teaching him this stuff. And he finally like, not only knew it, because some of the times before, he knew what he was going to do. Like they knew who, he was like, I have a vague idea of who you are, but what are you doing here? And this time, he was just like, I know who you are. I don't like you.
The cave, when he was in the cave with Beth, he like knew the whole story, and he was like, "My mom told me the story," and he was like, he that was one of the few things that he actually knew and had confidence in. So this movie or this TV series, has a 92 critic score and an 80% audience score. So which one do you agree with the most?
I'm more of a middle ground there. I think
middle ground there.
I think 80 is a little bit low, 90 might be a little high, because like I said, the acting for the children especially was a little weaker.
That's right.
And the storytelling wasn't as strong in the first couple episodes, and it took them more time to really get into it.
Right.
And so I think a nice 85 probably would have been good.
So in your opinion, which one is better, the series reboot or the books?
Oh, the books.
Oh, of course.
Because
that's where it came from.
Yeah, you got to give it to the books. Like, I love Sally Jackson. I like how they made her more important. They made everyone more important, but, like, the books, always.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for joining us, Eric. I enjoyed talking with you about Percy Jackson. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be discussing X-Men 97. Podcast. To end today's podcast, we're going to talk about X-Men 97. Here with us now is Keziah. Ready to talk about some X-Men, Keziah?
Definitely.
All right. So, X-Men 97 is a direct continuation of X-Men the Animated Series, focusing on the same group of X-Men that we left off with in 1997. Previously, Professor Xavier was on the verge of dying after being attacked by the anti-mutant hater Henry Gyrick at a UN summit. With no other option to save Xavier, he was sent away with the Shi'ar in hopes that they could heal him, leaving his X-Men back on Earth to protect the planet. Now, in X-Men 97, it has been 1 year since Xavier left, and the X-Men are still kicking around. So, Keziah, I have to say, I was really excited to find out about X-Men 97, a series that it serves as a soft reboot for people who haven't seen the original series. And I know the first thing I did when I heard about it is I went and caught up with the X-Men the Animated Series to kind of get a little bit of backstory. And I know at some point you joined in with me.
I did.
And we kind of got started on watching it. So right off the bat, there are some obvious differences. But what are some differences between the animated series, literally the animated series, and X-Men 97 that you saw?
Well, for one, definitely better animation.
Yes.
But some of the actors are slightly different.
Absolutely.
But we did have a lot of returning actors, which I thought was great because same voices, might be slight differences, but same actor. So I really enjoyed that. But also, we've seen a couple different characters so far. It's been kind of a smaller group, and then we were introduced to a couple of new characters like Roberto so far. Sunspot. Yes.
I can actually tell you which voice actors are the same, which actors are different.
Really?
So the voice actors for Wolverine, Rogue, Storm, Beast, and Mr. Sinister are all the same actors that were in the animated series. And then Cyclops, Jean Grey, Jubilee, Gambit, Magneto, and Morph all have new voice actors. And I think there's a few other side characters that probably have new voice actors, but those are the main cast. But we've been watching the series together, and the familiar faces and stuff. One of the big differences off the bat was the intro.
Oh yes, I love the intro so far. Every episode, depending on who's in it, and certain events that have happened, we've had different characters in and out of the intro, which has been really cool. Just to notice that and be like, oh, who's going to be a main person in the episode so far?
Yep, I think originally when it starts out, you have Magneto. Right off the first person you see is Magneto, and he does a little X with metal. And then it goes into, Cyclops and Wolverine. They all have their same kind of character introductions.
As the animated
series. Morph also has his character introduction. And even the music. They added a little guitar, kind of a rock vibe to the intro, which was really cool. And then, we got started. I believe the first episode is
Scott is taking over the X-Men.
Yes.
And it's actually called To Me, My X-Men. It's like Scott's going to take charge. Everything's great. They're getting through their first problems. And then, boom, right at the end of the episode, Magneto comes in and claims the X-Men and all they have as his own.
Yes, we saw that in the trailer. One of the what we thought was going to be a conflict actually hasn't been that big of a conflict.
No.
Is Magneto is like, everything that's here, everything that you are even, it belongs to me. And Charles Xavier said so. And which, now that I think about it, I wonder where he found that, who gave him that book, or where he found it. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, that's the end of the first episode. After they were kind of dealing with Sentinels, and I think Gyrick again was still there. And Jean saw his mind, and there was like she saw some ominous stuff from the future. But when you see Magneto, you're not even worried about that stuff anymore.
No, you're like, oh my gosh, this is about to be really bad. He's evil. But he actually surprised all of us. He was actually trying to be a good person in the memory of his best friend, Charles.
Yeah.
And from what we've seen, he really has led the X-Men, I mean, very well so
Come
far.
the second episode, he's saving humans.
I know.
He's just out there saving humans, being totally kind, totally like
surprises everyone.
Surprises
especially
everybody.
Scott, because we know Scott did not like Magneto.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a tension there, and they were kind of like, are we really going to let him lead the team, or what are we going to do here? But, a little bit with Rogue's convincing. Rogue and Magneto have a kind of past that they get into in the series, but
that was interesting.
That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, the emotions I was, like, there, even for us.
I know, yeah.
I was like, what?
But apparently Rogue knew. There's a scene in the animated series where Rogue is talking about how Mystique, like, trained her and kind of used her, basically. And shortly after this, Rogue goes and finds Magneto, we find out. And they kind of build a relationship from there. And for me, I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Like, Rogue and Magneto, like the combination.
Really?
But
poor Gambit.
Poor Gambit. It's kind of, we'll get to that in a second. But it was kind of cool to see this new dynamic between them.
Yeah.
And then where's the third episode go?
Third
we go
episode
from
wasn't that Storm?
Yes. So we have the next few episodes. We have Storm.
Yep.
During the second or third episode, Storm loses her powers.
Yes.
Yeah. In the second episode, Storm loses her powers. A new character called the Executioner. He's just got a short thing, but he blasts her with a weapon during another meeting. Like her and Magneto were trying to peacefully,
sort things out.
Get Genosha kind of as a part of a safe place, safe haven.
Yeah.
And she gets blasted with a ray gun. She loses her powers.
Yeah, I mean, as she has mentioned before, she has always wondered what it's like to be human, but she didn't want it to happen that way.
Yeah.
So that just really comes back to haunt her, as we see in the next couple episodes.
Yeah, and Magneto, it shows his growth. Like,
it does.
Charles Xavier, like, going off of Shi'ar and being close to death, and now he's leading. Instead of, he does a superpower move. He, like, rips up the UN, the table from and goes into space. And then he's like, I could crush you all if I wanted to.
But I'm not going to, because I'm trying to be good for once.
Exactly. And he's, trying to be good. But I won't give away too many spoilers, but just know that going into after that, you kind of see, like, betrayal and some references to the previous. But
yes.
Let's see. It has a 98% critic score and a 93% audience score at the moment.
Okay.
What do you make of that?
I would agree with the critic score, 98. This has been really good. It is definitely like the original animated series, but of course, better animation is always good. And then just seeing all the characters in their arc has been great so far.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for your take, Kazaya.
Thank you.
I'm happy to talk with you about X-Men a little bit. Thank you all for watching this episode of Super Media Podcast. Super Media Podcast is brought to you by the students of the Broadcasting and Video Production program at Bayes Technical College. If you have a favorite topic you want to hear us talk about in the future, let us know on YouTube. We'll see you next time with a whole lot of Super Media.